Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the SVT Podcast. I am here today with Sam. Nope, he's not here. Just kidding. We traded him away for a bag of peanuts. No, I'm just kidding. Uh,
Oh,
Vince, you are with us today. Tim on the ones and twos. Vince, what's going on, brother?
not a whole lot. One of my cousins was in town this past weekend, so we went to Plank. We actually, when we got there on Sunday, they had the A's game on instead of the U.S. Women's National Team, and it was Pride, and that was a little bit homophobic. So I called them out on that and made them put it on the women's soccer game instead. So, yeah. How about you, man? How was your
Oh
weekend?
man, it was good, man. Went to the county fair. Got to eat some of the world's most unhealthiest food, which is
Oh,
why people.
absolutely.
That's why it's the American dream, right? To eat the
Yeah, you
most
get some
unhealthiest
gator
food.
in you.
Yeah, exactly, right? Actually, with some fresh lemonade, some good corn dog. It was delicious. Man,
Nice.
that's what I go for. Anyways, guys, this episode is titled "Hopes and Dreams, Aspirations, and What Could Be." What does this mean? It means the Valkyries are cooking with gas, and last night they set ablaze to the Seattle Storm. Mike Greer is Scrooge McDucking it with his glorious draft day selections, and the Warriors may have drafted their next version of Klay Thompson. All of this is in this episode. So let's Scrooge McDuck this and let's dive in.
Right on. Just straight up into the into the coin vault. I love it. Okay,
Yes.
so do we start with just the NBA draft right
Let's do
now?
it.
And
Yeah,
okay,
it's
so
live
let's just
feeds.
let's talk about the Warriors selections. So why don't you go ahead and just tell us what do you think about who the Warriors selected, and what do you think, man? You said it. You the Warriors selected their next Klay Thompson. Tell us how he's Klay Thompson, man. Sell
Yeah.
me.
So he literally is been in contact with Klay Thompson growing up and has gone to basketball camps that Klay Thompson's been a part of. He is a shooter. He shoots the lights out. Now, do I think he's going to be the next Klay Thompson? In my
Wait,
opinion.
say his name. Say his name. I'm sorry, we didn't actually say his name. I just realized.
Oh, the Warriors draft pick here.
Yeah,
Oh, Alex Tuhi. So
Alex
he
Toohey.
so Alex Tui is he's from Australia. He can shoot the lights out. I think he's going to take a while to be a defensive player. So I don't know how much you're going to be able to compare and say that he is actually going to be the next Klay Thompson, but that has been the remarks that I've seen on the interwebs, and I just kind of a little pump in the brakes there. Do I think he could shoot the lights out and be a second scoring option? Sure, but is he gonna be an option available for Steph Curry? That's to be seen, right? So he's a second round pick, still has to get through minicamp. Not even sure if he's gonna be with the big club. Not a lot of second round picks with the Warriors end up being with the big clubs, to the exception of obviously Bazinski and Trace Jackson Davis at one point in time. Post, I guess, being another second round pick, but I feel like they were kind of used by
Jemsky was
necessity.
actually a first round pick. He was like number 19, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, how often do the second rounders actually stay up with the big club? Right, it's not very often. So I like where we're looking at this one. I'm a little iffy on our second one with Will Richard, the point guard out of Florida. Um, he's really smart. IQ level is off the charts. I know the Warriors love that, a la Draymond Green. Anyone who kind of fits in that Warrior system kind of has to have a good IQ level. His size concerns me. He's not a very big point guard. Is he going to be like a Chris Paul type? Maybe, but it sounds like he's more of a facilitator. His biggest jump in the prospect pool was when they played their minicamp games, and he had big assist numbers. So that's what's going off the chart for the Warriors there. Again, is he going to make the roster? I have no clue. He may spend some time in the G League and might bounce around a little bit down there too. So going back and forth. I'm not excited about these Warriors picks. If I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of feel like there were some needs that needed to be addressed, maybe possibly a center position, given in light of news that we will get to later on in this show. To me, I give the pick about a C plus, maybe a B minus at most here.
See, it's funny you say C plus B minus. I pulled it up on the Athletic, and the grade that they gave the Warriors is a B- for their picks. So you're kind of right in line with the thinking of the so-called experts that do the writing for the fancy pants
I'm available for
expert
hire
articles.
if the Athletic wants to hire me. I have no
Right.
journalistic background, but please do hire me.
Right. So the guy that they thought that they should have taken when they had the number 41 pick was Tui, and they ended up being able to take him at 52, right? So you get value there, right?
Sure.
So that's good move there. And then Richard, they have him as a solid 3-and-D player, but he's small and not overly athletic is what they say. So I mean, you're picking 2 picks in the back end of the second round, so kind of tough. And like you said, most second round picks, they don't really stick around all that long. Draymond is the exception, not the rule.
Yeah. Great.
So I mean, based on
But
where they were picking, you turned 1 pick into 2 picks, and you got guys that are gonna at least have a chance to, um, make a name for themselves at the very least. So
yeah,
see what happens.
I kind of starting to think, because the Warriors love drafting either guards or forwards, right? That seems to be the MO. Guards mostly. When I saw Will Richard, no offense to Will Richard, I'm sure he's a wonderful young gentleman. Very, very. I saw some of his interviews. He looks very poised, very professional. But the Warriors' obsession with drafting or acquiring point guards is getting a little scary here. Like, it kind of seems like, why do we have what seems like 15 point guards on the roster every single year? You know what I mean? I get it. Big men don't grow on trees. It's fine. Totally understand. But can you get some power forwards that are like 6'5", 6'6", the more than you get point guards that are a dime and a dozen that seem to be bouncing around the Warriors organization like it's crazy. I don't know if it's a situation with Steve Kerr and how he's able to probably coach guards better, kind of like Jason Kidd is really good with guards. Maybe that's a situation why we see a lot of it. But it does seem like an alarming rate of guards come through the building and not enough size in the NBA. That seems to be changing its MO to athletic bigs are now the in right now. They're the hot craze. So I don't know if small ball is going to be as effective as it once was maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. I think let's move on to we got the free agency tracker going on. So a lot of big moves happening. NBA free agency is underway. Okay. These names are moving fast and furiously. I had to add the Lee at the end there just in case don't want to get a copyright infringement or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Vin Diesel coming up my road. Don't want it. So the one that hurts us right off the bat, Kevon Looney to the Pelicans. Thank you, Loon God. He's going to be part of the big, we're going to have, an array of like 17 dudes in like one of the statues right outside of Chase. And he's going to be one of the big ones in there. Right. Like, so, man. So he's it's a 2-year contract, 16 mil, and dude, centers are getting paid still. A lot of people thought centers might start getting squeezed out a little bit, especially the more traditional, less athletic ones, but I mean, they're still getting paid, so good on them. D'Angelo Russell, obviously not a center, but he just happens to be next on the list. Goes to Dallas, 2-year contract. Jaren Jackson Jr. gets his max extension, 5-year, $240 million. Trade happened. Cam Johnson to Denver, Michael Porter Jr. and a first-round pick in 2032 to Brooklyn. Earlier in the week, Drew Holiday was sent to Portland. Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks back to Boston. Kristaps Porzingis traded to Atlanta. Boston gets George Niang and a second-round pick in the move. Porzingis went to Atlanta and a second-round pick. And the Nets get Terrence Mann, and Atlanta got the number 22 pick in the 2025 draft. I forget who they ended.
I want to touch base back on this Cam Johnson and Michael Porter Jr. And then Denver giving up that first round pick. Well, granted, it's a lot of years out, but still, I don't know if that's. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. has had a lot of back injuries. It's not even for certain he could play half of a season, let alone a full season. I just feel like that is a low trade. I guess the way I'm looking at it is if I was the Warriors, you couldn't match something close to get Cam Johnson, something along those lines. It just feels like that got given up for a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
okay. Let's see. I was just adding another one in there while you were mentioning that. Let's see. Yeah,
Jordan
the news
Poole.
keeps coming. Jordan Poole trade. So the Wizards agreed to trade guard Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and the 40th pick in 2025's drafts to New Orleans Pelicans for CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, and a 2027 second round pick that originally belonged to Chicago. Okay.
Okay.
Dorian Finney-Smith is going to Houston, 4 years, $53 million. James Harden signed a 2-year, $81.5 million contract to stay with the Clippers. The second year is a player option. LeBron James opts into his player option for $52.6 million with the Lakers. Julius Randle is staying with Minnesota, 3 years, $100 million. The third year is a player option. Bruce Brown is back to Denver on a vet minimum.
Okay.
Kevin Porter Jr. back to Milwaukee, 2 years, $11.4 million on the biannual exception. Ty Jerome to Memphis, 3 years, $38 million. Dennis Schroeder to Sacramento. The details are as of yet unknown. Paul Reed is going back to Detroit, 2 years, $11 million. Jake LaRavia to LA Lakers for the mid-level exception. Karis LeVert to Detroit, 2 years, $29 million.
Crazy. The Warriors couldn't get Karis LeVert. Come on, man. This one, the next one too.
Clint Capella to Houston, 3 years, $21.5 million. That's the big men still getting paid, man. Luke Cornett to San Antonio Spurs, another big man, 4 years, $41 million. Man, if you're 7 foot tall and have any and can move at all,
yeah.
Cornett can't really move that much, but I mean, you can move enough, I guess, to get 4 years and $41 million out of the Spurs. So good on him. Speaking of big men, Brook Lopez still getting contracts.
45-year-old Brook Lopez. He's not 45.
87-year-old Brook Lopez signs a 2-year contract with the LA Clippers. He'll be 138 years old by the time the contract is over. No, he's
those knees might though.
He's 37 actually is how old he really is. But yeah, so 2 years, $18 million. Nickeil Alexander-Walker traded to Atlanta as part of a $25 million trade exception that they gained from the DeJounte Murray trade with New Orleans. So Minnesota gets back Cleveland's 2027 first round pick. Tyus Jones to Orlando for a $7 million contract 1 year. And Luka Garza to Boston, 2 years, $5.5 million. Checking really quick to see if anything snuck in since I started reading, and it looks like we're all caught up on that. So that's where we are at right now with the NBA free agent tracker. Okay. So I'm not going to delete anything on our sheet right now. Let's just leave it where it's at, so that way I know where we left off. And okay, so there we go. All right, cool. With that being said, anything else? Men's basketball.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing.
Go for it.
You went through this whole list, and I'm sure that there'll be some bombshells throughout that will pause through the show and say something happened here. But you know what I'm noticing, and I'm sure you're well aware of it too. Do you see anything Warrior related?
Only a couple of former Warriors going to different teams,
but nothing going to, right?
No, nothing going to the Warriors.
That is alarming, and I don't know what bombshells you might get or what's going on, but I'd have to say, I'm not going to say that Mike Dunleavy's job is easy. By no means is it easy. It's a cap hell that he's dealing with, but you got to be disappointed, right? If you're Joe Lacob, in some retrospect, that you couldn't. There's no trades we could do. There's nothing we could do to get our team better in the twilight years of Steph Curry. there's got to be a level of disappointment in that front office as of this moment, unless they're working on something currently.
I have to believe at this point there's honestly there's not a lot they can really do. They're just they're kind of cash strapped right now. They can't go out and get new people. So the only way you're going to be able to make moves is by trades, right? And right now, the kind of players you're looking for, they're getting new contracts right now, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you almost kind of gotta let things settle a little bit first, and then exploit the market inefficiencies to borrow a Moneyball type mindset. You know, obviously they do Moneyball the way you really should do it, by exploit the inefficiencies and then pay handsomely for the on the front end as well.
Yeah, I mean, the CBA, the current one is made to diffuse teams like the Warriors, teams like the Lakers of old, the Boston Celtics of old. So power teams, super teams, unless you have 45 first round draft picks like OKC, it's going to be hard pressed to build a team that's going to have plethora of talent, of first round talent coming in every single year. So it's going to be an interesting situation to see what the next, I would say, CBA when it comes around in the next 5 years. I believe this is the next one comes up. So it'd be interesting to see if owners are frustrated with the fact that they can't keep their players long term once time goes by. So, anyways,
Yeah, we'll see.
So next on the docket here, I think it's time to flip the gears. You got a different hat for us today?
No, we're not doing the hat changes this time. I don't have the I don't have the energy right now.
Well, the Valkyries,
yeah.
They needed some good rest after the butt whooping that they did yesterday here. So
so they over this past week they played 3 games. They lose versus the New York Liberty by 3. That one, I'm not a huge believer in moral victories for the most part. That being said, when you are an expansion franchise and you are very clearly a good team at this point, I think we can all say that this is a good team. They're clearly, you have more wins than losses. Of the 7 losses you have, 3 of them are to the to the team that won the championship last year, in a league that you weren't part of last year. So and then the another one of those losses was to another team that was in that championship game, the Minnesota Lynx. So I mean, more than half of your losses and you're still above 500. Now you're above 500 by 2 games now after you win the next 2 games after that loss. Kayla Thornton followed up that loss. They get a win versus Chicago on Friday. She had a career high 29 points and she threw in 6 rebounds just for good measure. And then on Sunday, they just, oh man, they dog walked Seattle is what happened there. That was 84-57. Just an old fashioned butt whooping. Sue Bird, Seattle Storm legend, and her partner Megan Rapinoe was there. Megan Rapinoe, NorCal legend, actually came and beat the drum to start the game too. So I guess Pino just kind of loves drama a little bit, so that was fun. It was also Pride weekend as well in the Bay Area, so that was fun too to see that happen. That was
Steph Curry made an appearance last night as well too. His
Steph
first
Curry
one
was there. Pretty fun to see all of them there. When you look at like the team stats or whatever, so for the when you look at the Liberty game, everything was pretty close. Like where the big discrepancy when you look at it, the free throws basically. Both teams only missed 2 free throws in that in the loss to the Liberty. The real difference is the Liberty took 7 more free throws. They were 17 of 19. Golden State was 10 of 12. So So you lose by 3. They took 7 more free throws than you did. Uh, that's and when you look at it, they had a couple more offensive rebounds. You had more rebounds overall. You had a couple more assists. Steals were even. They had a couple more blocks. Like points in the paint. You had 2 more points in the paint. They had 1 more fast break points. Like it is even. Like you look at it like everything's like bolded for which team had the advantage. It is split down the line when you look at those stats on that box score, man. They are right there with the champs, man. It's kind of cool when you look at it right there, man. And so that's why when I say normally I don't believe in moral victories, that this is the exception. When you are an expansion team and you're playing toe to toe with the champs, and and you're right there, man. Like it's just a couple of breaks here and there throughout the game, and you got to start winning those games too at some point. So the next time you play them, I want to see a W. But now you know you can play with them. So that's good to know. And then you come back the next 2 games, you get the win versus Chicago, and then the Storm are actually a really good team. And then you like we said, you just you dog walk them. So that was really encouraging to see. So as far as the team itself, the team they released franchise valuations for the WNBA. The Golden State Valkyries didn't have a 2024 valuation last year because they didn't exist. This year, they're the number
Big money
one most
Joe.
value. They're valued at 500 million. So they're the most valuable WNBA franchise. The New York Liberty are number 2, 420 million.
How
Nice.
crazy that like New York's been around for a while, and Joe just said, "Hold my beer, I got this."
To be fair, the New York Liberty, they just won their first title, and so it took them quite a while to build up to get to this point. So you know, Indiana Fever are number 3 at 335 million. That's the Caitlin Clark effect right there. Yeah. So the rest of the league is, some of them are having they're starting to build their way up. The lowest valued team right now is the Atlanta Dream at 165 million. So even the poorest teams right now, they're still, you know, I mean, I'm not buying a WNBA team anytime soon. I'll tell you that, you know, I mean, uh, so, you know, there's still, you know, plenty of room for growth, I guess. Right. And the fact that the Valkyries are setting such a very high bar means that these new teams that are coming into the league over the next few years, you got Portland and Toronto next season. And then they just announced officially teams 16, 17, and 18 are going to be coming as well. So they were expecting to get to 16 by 2028. They're doing us 2 better. They're going to have 18 teams by 2030. So here it is. Cleveland will begin play in 2028. The Cleveland Rockers are coming back. They haven't officially announced that it'll be the Rockers, but Cleveland is getting their team back. The Detroit is getting their team back in 2029. That was the Detroit Shock
Nice.
back then. So maybe the Shock are coming back. Maybe they'll have a new team name. Who knows? And Philadelphia is getting a team for the first time. So that'll be fun to see as well. And that'll be 2030. So the league is pouncing on this opportunity. That's, again, all of these very talented players that don't have jobs right now that are getting cut because because of the roster constraints. There's going to be places for them. There is, you know, room for this league. You know, there is room in this league. So that's great for these players.
I heard something, and I'm kind of curious what you think about it. Obviously,
Yeah.
the WNBA wants to do expansion across the league. It makes more sense than what I'm going to say to you. But
Okay.
I've been seeing on some couple channels of people discussing that Sacramento fans are a little 50-50, right?
Okay.
While yes, the Golden State Valkyries are the hot new team, they're fun to watch, they're great to watch. Somebody from Sacramento is not going to root for an LA team. It's not going to happen over their dead
Right.
bodies, right?
Right.
but a lot of them kind of feel like they wish they could get the Monarchs back.
Right.
And I can understand their argument behind that. And obviously, it wasn't a great time for the WNBA as far as expansion goes in that time era, but now it starts boom. Do you think somewhere down the path, WNBA is going to revisit and give Sacramento back a team?
I don't know. I wouldn't say no. I mean, I mean, the NBA makes NorCal a 2-team market, right? I mean, the WNBA is unafraid to be in markets that the men's league is not in right now. They're in Connecticut, they're in Las Vegas. I mean, they have been in other areas that the men aren't playing right now.
Right.
It certainly is a possibility. Obviously, they're in Seattle, although that was more of the men's league being dumb more than anything else.
Right.
And Seattle and Las Vegas are probably the next two cities getting a team anyway when the men's league does expand. So that'll be those two cities. So, but you'll still have Connecticut, right? As far as markets that don't, that have a team that or whatever I'm trying to say there. Anyway, the point is, yeah, they'll. I think that it's certainly a possibility. I think that. That being said, though, when you look at the teams that they are adding, they are all in existing markets already.
Sure.
You're looking at Portland, Toronto, and then the three new ones that are coming in, Detroit and Cleveland and Philly. Those are all teams with existing, not just existing NBA teams. They're going to play in those arenas as well.
Right.
So that they'll have their own like facilities, training facilities or whatever. But the as far as like arenas to play in and stuff, like they don't. I don't think they want to have to deal with a situation like having the teams play in much smaller arenas. I think that they see it's possible if it's done right to have. What the Golden State Valkyries are doing right now, selling out every single home game, 10 for 10 at this point. So it is possible if you do it right, if you sell it right, if you choose the right team name, if you get if you get buy-in from the community and I think that's kind of the idea, right? And if you grow properly, I think all of this is possible. And I don't know if a market that doesn't already at least have a sizable arena already would be able to do that. So I think it's possible they could go into a market like Kansas City or Cincinnati or what have you that does have a traditional NBA size arena, 16,000, 18,000 or whatever. Like those cities do have that size arena, but don't have an NBA tenant or an NHL tenant, but like, so that's a possibility. Sure. But I think that outside of that, I think that would be a requirement. They would want an arena of that size. I think that they want at least 15,000 seats in an arena. I think that there's your requirement. Long story short, that's what they're looking for. Well, they don't want to try to do like a 7,000 seat arena. Like they're beyond that right now. They don't want to have to try to when Caitlin Clark comes to town, they don't want to have to try to find a bigger stage just for one or two games, at this point.
Oh, speaking of which, I know we haven't. Well, we did say that the Valkyries are in a playoff contention here. My wife was telling me, which. Oh, I also want to bring up another note about this too. I put it on here too, but my wife was mentioning to me that the Valkyries, should they make the playoffs, there is a possible conflict of scheduling here, and that the Valkyries might have to go play at Oracle, which I am on board, like to just relive the moments of Oracle all over again.
What would the conflict be?
Like a concert or something that they can't push or move, or there's some kind of scheduling that they
Okay, well, I
can't
mean,
move.
it depends also, like, what seed they get, and
Sure.
and also could it be pushed like could the game be pushed a day, too, as well. Like, there's wiggle room, I'm sure. And they like, you can play with the playoff schedule a little bit too. I mean, there's a little bit of wiggle room in there when they're doing the playoff schedule as well. So I'm not gonna quite worry about that just yet. But if they do end up having to play a game at Oracle, I mean, I don't know that I think that they're gonna try everything in their power to not do that.
Sure.
I think they want to not go to Oracle if at all possible.
I
That
guess
being
the point of
said,
the point of the message though is that I
I
didn't look
wouldn't
this
be
up.
upset.
My
I
wife looked
wouldn't
this up.
I
That's what I'm
wouldn't be
saying is that,
upset.
like, my wife is the one that's got into this, not
Yeah,
me.
right,
So it's bringing in fans of all levels here,
right.
which reminded me, over the weekend I had stopped by a local bar of ours, and they had the A's game on, and the Giants game was on the other TV screen, and these two gentlemen walked in, and they had asked the bartender if they could put something on TV. And the bartender knows me, and I said, "Hey, no one gives a crap about the A's game. You could put whatever you want on. I don't really care. Doesn't matter." Little did I know, the two gentlemen walked in because they wanted to watch Caitlin Clark. That was what they wanted to watch. And I said,
Okay.
"Oh, cool." I said, are you guys big from Indiana, or what's the deal here?" And they're like, "Oh no, we're from LA. We're working a job up here." Shout out to Mark and Johnny. I put their names on the list here. I told them I'd give them a shout out here.
Right
They
on,
are
right on.
LA Lakers fans,
Okay.
but they started. Mark told me that he started watching Caitlin Clark in college, started learning about her whole story, got really into the fandom of it all, and he's a big WNBA fan. He's a big Caitlin Clark fan, and we started just chopping up about WNBA. But to the point is that, like, these are random dudes in LA who came to a bar and asked the bartender if they could change the TVs to put on a WNBA game. So I love the level of where this fandom is getting for the WNBA. I love the expansion. It's great, and the fact that my wife is telling me about conflict schedules about the WNBA, and she's excited to see videos about the WNBA. She's been looking up tickets constantly every single day. So we're gonna go to a game. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
which one we're gonna go to,
Right. Yeah. Got to
and I'm
get the
loving it,
schedules
man.
to sync up. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, and it's
Yes.
something she can claim as her own, and I love that. And we can enjoy this fandom together, and I really appreciate all this. So
Mhm. So, obviously, there's a lot of excitement with the WNBA, especially here with the Valkyries and everything. Unfortunately, there is some sad news that comes too, because Eurobasket has ended, which means these a lot of the players that were overseas playing Eurobasket have come home, which means that some roster moves have had to be made. Um, so Chloe Bibby and Bree Hall were released to make room for the players returning. Um, Cecilia Zandalicini and Janelle Salon coming back. And then, oddly enough, Julie Van Loo,
yeah, I
who
was a little
was
shocked by this one.
Belgium, like, was on Belgium's, like, she went over to Eurobasket to play for Belgium. And she was the one who was released instead of Caitlin Chen.
Yeah,
So I'm a little bit shocked that that's what happened there. I mean, I thought for sure Caitlin Chen was like, she performed admirably, but I mean, this goes back to the whole roster size issue that we've talked about a little bit before. So I mean, with the CBA coming up due as well, they're going to get bigger roster sizes. I have to imagine that's what the players association is going to ask for.
sure.
And so more roster spots, and then you have two new teams entering the league next season, and then you got three more coming a couple of years after that as well. So you got five more rosters to begin with, plus bigger rosters on those rosters as well. You're talking probably about 70 more jobs coming in the next
Good.
5 years. And there's there's enough talent to fill those jobs as well. I mean, there's a lot of really talented players who just kind of keep playing on these 10-day contracts. They just keep, bouncing around right now. And that's just kind of the way it is right now. And it's unfortunate, but hopefully
they really
that's
need
coming.
a practice squad, because it's too much to ask for a supplemental league, right? It's too much, but practice squads, I think it needs to be introduced.
Yeah, either practice squad or like we said, at least increasing the size of the roster to the men have 17, and then it's like what it's 15, and then two-way contracts, right? And then you have like 13 active on game day, something like that. I could see obviously there isn't a G League type situation, but like a 15 and 13 situation, or 15 and 12 active, something like that. So basically you have 3 practice squad type players, so to speak, along with your 12, whatever the situation is, however you make that work. I think that's at least the starting point, and go from there. And like we said, there's 30 more jobs coming, assuming if they expand to 15. There's 30 more jobs coming next year, right, with the 2 new teams. So
right.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's a good enough spot to leave it on for the moment there. Tammy Fagbenley's also back from Eurobasket. She came back a little bit sooner because Britain got eliminated quicker. Okay. Yeah, so let's move on to soccer. U.S. women's national team. They played 2 international friendlies against Ireland. They win the first international friendly on the 26th, 4-0. That game was in Colorado. Your goal scorers were Avery Patterson, Sam Coffey, Rose Lavelle, and Alyssa Thompson. That was Rose Lavelle's first game back in for Team USA in 6 months. Let's see. Sam Coffey's goal was a left-footed one. That was pretty fun. Let's see. I had a fun note about Rose's goal. What was it? Oh yeah. She is one of 4 U.S. women's national team players to score at least 10 left-footed goals and 10 right-footed goals since 2017. Okay. So the other 3 players, do you want to take a guess, at least at some of them?
I couldn't even if I tried.
I know, right? So it's Alex Morgan, the baby horse.
Okay.
You have Mallory Swanson and Sophia Wilson. So Sophia was Sophia Smith, but now is married to Sophia Wilson. So
I think I could have gotten 1 out of the 3, but
you might have been able to get Alex Morgan.
I think I might have been getting Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they get that first win against Ireland 4-0. Okay. So then they follow that up on Sunday. They play Ireland, and then they get that win in Cincinnati on June 29th, 4-0. Goals in that game by Lynn Williams, Izzy Rodriguez, Yasmin Ryan, and Alyssa Thompson. So, yeah, that's right. Alyssa Thompson got the 4th goal in both games. So that's kind of fun. And both games, honestly, Ireland just looked overmatched. It was, when you look at the stats, the first game shots were 17-1 and then 24-2. Possession was 66-34 and then 65-35. When you look at just like saves, it was 3-1 and then 6-0. Also the second game versus Ireland, that was the 600th total win in U.S. women's national team history.
Wow.
So there was a fun little graphic of like all the the players from the 80s, and then like you have like iconic moments, like some players biting the gold medal, Alex Morgan kissing one of the trophies, the World Cup trophies. You got players from the 1991 World Cup team, with their flags draped over each other. You got the Megan Rapinoe pose with Morgan jumping on her shoulders, so all kinds of iconic moments. Like it was a nice little Instagram montage that they posted. It was very nice. I enjoyed kind of seeing that. That was pretty fun. So their next game is on July 2nd in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
That one is against Canada. that one's actually going to be a pretty big one. Canada is a lot better. They're a lot better than Ireland. So there's obviously it's like CONCACAF rivalry, and yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. There's going to be a lot of like a lot of rivalry talk, and could get a little fun, could get a little chippy.
Sure.
So I'll definitely be tuning in for that one. So on the men's side, the men are playing in the Gold Cup right now.
Holy crap. I watched this
Yeah,
one
dude.
yesterday.
Oh, oh boy. Oh boy. So, so the okay. They surrender the first goal early off of a dumb penalty. The USA defender Arfston gives up. It's just a dumb penalty. And then Costa Rica converts it. Calvo, he goes low and right with power. Freeze got a hand on it, the goalkeeper, but it just wasn't enough. And then USA gets a penalty of their own from VAR. Malik Tillman drew a penalty in the box. Yellow card. It got a yellow card on the defender in the 37th minute, but then off the post, and it led to a corner. But then nothing really comes of that. Unfortunate. But in the 43rd minute, Diego Luna finally gets a goal for USA, and for him too. Like it was deflected, kind of went really careened. Really, I don't know if there's a better word for it. Just goes off the defender and into the back of the old onion bag. And then coming right out of halftime, Arfston redeems himself. He gets a goal, just receives a clean pass and an open look at the left side, and he just goes up and away with a clinical finish. And they kept pressing the attack, but the third goal never comes. Instead, Costa Rica in the 71st minute, they get the game time goal after an initial save at the near post. Martinez crashes the play and just finishes. Nobody on defense marked him, and that ties the game. They end up going to penalties. There is no extra time unless it's the final in the Gold Cup. They don't want to like wear these guys out too much, especially like in the earlier round. So if it's tied after regulation, they just go straight to the penalties. So on Costa Rica's second attempt, Freeze gets the save. Sebastian Berhalter then on USA's third attempt misses. Oh, he missed. It was
I've been
bad.
talking this kid up, man. I know his dad's something, but I've been talking this kid up over there for Chicago.
It was I think he's going to use that though, and he'll be better, all the better for it in the future. Freeze saves the fifth attempt on Calvo right down the middle too. And then Tolkien comes up, and his attempt was saved. We go to sudden death.
This was crazy.
Freeze saves it, and then Downs sends USA to the semifinals. They are playing Guatemala at 3 p.m. in St. Louis, and then Mexico versus Honduras in Santa Clara at 6 p.m. Both games are on Wednesday. So as far as stats go, USA had 19 shots, 4 of them on goal. Costa Rica had 8 shots, 4 of them on goal. It was a 64-36 possession percentage advantage, 9-2 corners advantage. Look,
we're not gonna beat this like a dead horse. USA is playing with the scraps that they have left over, right?
Right.
But there is some players there that could step up more. Diego Luna, I'm looking at you, number one. You have to step up more. I mean, I'm glad he got the guy. I'm glad too, but
yeah,
I gotta see more shots attempts from you. You gotta be the aggressive one.
And maybe finally seeing it go in is what breaks it loose.
Could be.
Maybe sometimes you just got to see it go in, right? And like maybe something happens there. Who knows? And I hope that that's the case. I really do.
Yeah.
But if this was just a lucky break and it continues down the path of just unfortunate breaks after unfortunate breaks, because he's been like this game, they generated a lot of opportunities, but just the final finish just was not there at all. And that was an ongoing thing throughout this entire tournament so far, is the final touch. It's just
man. Costa Rica's goalie, and I forgive me, I was trying to look up his name and I can't see it, but I mean, stick taps, goalie taps, big glove claps, whatever you want to call it. He played phenomenal. I mean, he played literally. Those penalty kicks. It was great to see. I love those. Are just one of the best moments I think that soccer can or football can bring to a fandom for guys like me. But played excellent, and Freeze, same thing. Hats off to him as well too. So they played excellent as netminders there. I just it's Costa Rica, you know what I mean? Like they're a quality club, but USA has aspirations to be better. And if you're going to penalty kicks against Costa Rica, man, it's scary times. Just to
Yeah,
be a USA fan.
they
You know?
should have had that game wrapped up, and they
Yeah.
didn't. And then they just let Costa Rica hang around, especially when you get that second goal
Yeah.
coming right out of halftime, and you kept pushing the advantage for like another half hour after that too, and it just that third goal never came. And the longer it went and the longer it didn't come, that's when I started feeling a little bit nervous. Like, there was an opportunity, Costa Rica, like off of the crossbar, like in like I think it was like the 89th minute or something like that. It might have even been stoppage
Yes.
time, dude. Like it was
Yeah.
really late. And if that one goes in, holy doodle, man.
Yeah.
Holy doodle.
Look at and people go, oh well, when the A squad comes back, we'll be fine. Will you though?
Won't.
I mean,
No,
there's no
no,
chemistry.
the hell we won't. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a little concerning. It's not a little. It's a lot concerning. I have my scale all the way to the red meter as far as panic mode goes, just because
Yeah. So
these guys aren't gonna be on the roster when the A squad comes back. Is the A squad gonna just mesh all of a sudden? No, they're not.
Yeah.
So it's not
All
like
right.
the U.S. women's, unfortunately.
Yeah. So the only saving grace is Panama, who was probably the favorites to win this whole tournament.
Yes.
They also lost in the penalty. They ended up losing to Honduras. And that's on the other side of the bracket versus Mexico. So Mexico versus Honduras. And then Canada, the other team that could have been a problem for USA, they also lose in the penalty to Guatemala. So it's lined up perfectly for USA versus Mexico in the final. Like that's kind of like that's what the soccer gods have lined it up for it to be. They put it on a platter. Now both teams, Mexico and USA, just have to handle their business to make it happen, right? And
do you got money on Mexico fans ending that game early because they can't control themselves?
In Santa Clara?
Yeah.
I hope they don't. I really hope they don't.
Please, if you're going to attend the game, don't participate in the chants. Just
Don't
be
do
better.
that, please.
Be better.
I want Mexico to get to the final to play USA.
I do too.
Don't do that. Don't do that chant. Don't
just
do
be
the
better.
If you're going.
Yeah, just be better.
Yeah. Don't do that chant, please. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to hockey. We're getting a little bit pressed for time, so let's move on to hockey.
Sure, of course.
All right, so the draft happened.
Yes.
So the Sharks brought in WWE superstar Bayley to make the first round picks for us. And she's pretty smart. So the Sharks ended up picking Michael Misa. I knew he would be the guy. It was all smoke screens. I knew it. So there it is. Michael Misa. He's gonna join a really strong forward group. I love it, man. I'm so hyped for the pick.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of the draft class, you have Joshua Ravensbergen, the goalie, at number 30. That's a great pick as well. So that's going to be a really good goalie core. All right, Simon Wong, defenseman. Wong and Dick on your back end, man. It's going to be great. Like
yes.
Yeah, just the gonna just be handing out the long schlong of the defense.
Even think about that. That's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a great nickname duo for the Sharks for a long time. Okay. All All right. Let's see. And then what else? We got Cole McKinney, a center in the second round toward the back end, pick number 53. You got another center, pick 95, round 3, Teddy Mutrin.
Muchin.
Cool. You got another defenseman.
I can't say it either.
Ilyas Magomed Sultanov. Oh, that's
better than what I can
something
do.
Eastern European. Zachary Sharp, another defenseman. Love that name. That one's easier. Max Heisey, it's a center in round 5, and then a 7th round pick, Richard Gallant, 7th round. He's a forward. He's a short king, 5'8", 166 pounds. So maybe he gets the Joe Pavelski route. We'll see. All right. So overall, most of the time, when you look at a draft class, it's really the first couple of rounds is the ones you look at. Most of the time, if anybody from the 3rd round on even makes it to the NHL,
it's pretty impressive.
That's impressive. Like that's an outlier case. Yeah. So you look at the first 2 rounds, and I see 2 centers, a defenseman, and a goaltender, and that's great. And the Sharks need help everywhere, right? I mean, and so you just take best available, right? And when you look at the list and all the experts, when they check it off the list, and you say, they look at the list and say, I think that Joshua Ravensbergen is the 27th best player in this entire class, and the Sharks were able to get him at 30. That's a value. And so, and every single like expert I've read have the Sharks either at an A or an A+ in their draft.
Yep.
So I'm like, based on what the experts are saying early, and obviously it's way too soon to truly judge this class, but everybody is really excited about this draft class. I was excited the second they drafted Michael Misa and not anybody else. So I'm feeling great about it. That was the only one that I was like really invested in. As long as it was Michael Misa, that was fine, and then after that, I'm like, I'm going to let the experts worry about the rest of it. And so there we go. Okay. I've said my piece on that. Okay. So the next important thing, holy doodle, holy F, Ron, holy doodle, boys. Joe Thornton gets the call. He
missed the call, and then he got the second call.
He missed the call because he was on the plane, and then
he was hanging out with Bernsey, actually.
Yeah. So Joe Thornton's officially a Hall of Famer, first ballot, like we all expected him to be. So Joe Thornton's career stats in the regular season, some of these are pretty impressive. So I got games played, goals, assists, and points, total points. Okay. So just those 4. Where do you think he ranks in games played? Just overall. I'm not asking you for the total number, just I
would say 3.
He's 6th all time at 17-14.
Okay.
Goals.
Ooh, goals. I'm gonna say he's probably 7th.
No, goals. He's actually pretty lower. He has 430 goals. That's 84th. Okay. Here's where it gets a little more interesting. Assists.
That's the one I'm thinking of. He's always behind the net throwing it to people.
Exactly.
I would say, he was the one that really glorified passing the puck to himself off the back of the net that people didn't think about doing. Like that was a Joe Thornton specialty. Assists all time.
Yeah, all time.
Everyone else, that's where I'd put him at 7. I'd put him at 7.
7 on the dot. 1109.
Yeah.
And then total points.
Ooh, total points. Gosh, assists gets you a lot of points too. I'd say he's probably somewhere in like the 24th, 25th, somewhere in there.
14.
Okay.
1539 points, 14th all time.
Okay.
So there you go. Obviously, if you haven't seen the video yet, take a look at that because it's really cool. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah. It's a great call. It's a great video.
It's such a great video. And it's not even of Joe; it's of the guys. It's of Lanny and Ron calling Joe Thornton to welcome him into the Hall of Fame. It's a Hall of Fame mustache calling a Hall of Fame beard to welcome him into the NHL, into the Hockey Hall of Fame. You know.
Yep.
So, a guy that moving on from that. Just a couple other guys coming into the Hall of Fame with him are Zdeno Chara and Duncan Keith as well. Guys that are deserving as well. Giving them a couple of stick taps as well. But Joe Thornton's the guy that we give a damn about over here. So I'm gonna get to that note in just a second. I do want to give a couple of stick taps to Marc-Edouard Vlasic, who was placed on waivers for the purposes of a buyout. He was in the final year of his contract with the Sharks. So it's going to clear a roster spot. So he had 1,300 games played. He won gold with Team Canada in 2010. Defensive first defenseman, and like he was a defensive-minded defenseman. So like he doesn't have a lot of the counting stats, but 1,300 games played with the Sharks. He was just like, when he was at his prime, he shut down the best of the best. Okay. The reason why in 2014 the LA Kings were able to do the reverse sweep on the Sharks is because early in game 5, Marc-Edouard Vlasic got injured, left the game, could not return to that series. And that opened up Anze Kopitar and everybody else to like suddenly run wild and run free. Pickles wasn't there to shut them down, and that turned that more than anything else turned the series back. So I mean, Pickles was just as important part of that franchise. The you know, we talked about it before, the historic run that they were on. They made the playoffs like 22 of 25 seasons or something like that. And Pickles was a huge reason why that happened. Almost as important on the defensive side as Joe Thornton was on the offensive side, you know.
Yep.
Or Patrick Marleau, like Pickles does not get the love that he deserves during his prime. He didn't do it as long as Joe Thornton or Patrick Marleau, but when he was at his best, he was super important, and I just wanted to show Pickles the love that he deserves. So congrats on a hell of a career. I'm sad to see him go. The last couple of years, he just hasn't been the same, unfortunately, and it makes sense for the organization to move on. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, all right. So a couple of notes moving on. Evander Kane got traded to the Canucks. The Oilers are going to get back a 4th-round pick. Vancouver is going to pay the entirety of his last year of his contract. It's a little over $5 million. Trevor Zegras is traded from Anaheim to Philly. Anaheim's getting 2 picks and a 4th-line center back. The NHL and the NHL Players Association agreed to a CBA extension. This is huge. We do not have to have a work stoppage at next year. They got this done more than a year ahead of time. So here's some of the key points. 84 game season starting in the 2026-27 season.
Okay.
The preseason is going to be shortened to 4 games.
I'm okay with that.
And players with over 100 games played can play a max 2 games as well. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work as well. Player maximum contract lengths shortening to 7 years if you're signing with your own team, 6 years if you're signing with a new team.
Okay.
Comprehensive playoff salary cap system, so it's closing that long-term injury that long-term injury list loophole. So that's good. Draft pick signing rights to universally expire at age 22, regardless of what league you're playing in. So when you're drafted and then you go to college, but the team still holds your rights, it expires at age 22 unless you sign your entry level contract. No more deferred salary. That's good.
I'm a little as an Eagles fan, I'm a little about it.
All right, significant increase to Stanley Cup playoff bonus pool fund. It's going to almost double.
Okay.
So that's good. Establishment of full-time wait, I'm sorry. Emergency backup goalie for within the team. So each team is going to have their own third emergency backup goalie. So that's great. And then no more team mandatory game day dress code for the players as well. So
no more suits, huh?
No more suits. They can wear the suit if they want to, but they don't have to anymore. They can dress as they see fit.
I don't mind that, but hockey was just the one sport that I'm like, every dude rocked a cool suit. You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't a one guy that didn't rock a cool suit, you know?
Okay. So let's see. Some more because it's also free agent frenzy over here as well. In Hockey Town, Panthers and reigning playoff MVP Sam Bennett agreed to an 8-year, $64 million extension. Brad Marchand and the Florida Panthers are doing 6 years and $32 million extension. That's interesting because Brad Marchand is 37 years old. So, he's gonna play yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Evan Borchardt, the defenseman, is signing with Edmonton for a 4-year, $10.5 million annual average annual value contract. So, $42 million, it looks like. Ivan Provorov re-signs with Columbus, $8.5 million per year for 7 years. Patrick Kane back to Detroit on a 1-year, $3 million deal. And here's the big one. Mitch Marner agrees to a sign-in trade with Vegas. The contract is 8 years, $96 million. He's likely going to be on the top line with Jack Eichel and Mark Stone. So there's another reason to hate that team. So there you go, buddy. Okay. Yeah, we can continue to hate the Vegas Golden Showers.
Yeah. Jesus.
Got him. Oh. Okay. With that, I think there's just a couple of just random notes that we don't even really have images for. The Dolphins and the Steelers are making deals. The Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith are going to Pittsburgh. Minka Fitzpatrick is going to Miami, and there's also a late round pick swap. And then in sports that we don't normally talk about, Joey Jaws Chestnut is returning to Coney Island for the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest this Friday after a dispute between the sponsorships kept him from participating last year. Mark Esper won last year's title. On a side note, Joey Chestnut faced off against Kobayashi on Labor Day, and he beat him handily, and he surpassed Mark Esper's total as well, just for hoops and giggles. So yeah, that's so Joey Chestnut's going to go back to Coney Island where he rightfully belongs. He's going to reclaim his title, and yeah, we can pretend like the world is not totally insane for just 10 minutes and just watch a grown man pound 70 glizzies in 10.
I will have hot dogs on the 4th. I will have considerably less than what.
Yeah, I'm gonna have nowhere near 70. Yeah, we're talking 2 max. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's No, I'm not doing 70. At my like, if I was training for such an event, I think I could maybe if I was really training and really dug deep and like if you give me a month of training and I could probably get to 20 in 10 minutes. I think if I really did it, but also I would really hate myself if I did too. So I'm not gonna do it. So I think I'm gonna stick with my 2 and just call it a day. You know how people measure in shack sizes as jokes. I want to know how many hot dogs Joey has eaten to equate to a pig. How many pigs has Joey eaten in hot dog relations? I mean, I know he's also eating tacos and ribs and stuff like that. So it's not just hot dogs that pig parts he's eating, man. He's eating all parts of the pig,
But I'm saying the amount of weight of hot dogs he's eaten to the amount of a weight of an average pig. what are we looking like? 4 pigs, 5 pigs? You know, that's something crazy.
Papa G in the chat has seen him destroy a 10-pound mac and cheese. I've seen him take down the Burritozilla in San Jose.
Okay, I've seen that.
In about 50 seconds.
I have
saw
watched 2 friends eat that
Mhm.
in one sitting. So that
Yep.
alone was impressive to me, to watch 2 people eat that in one sitting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but they didn't do it in 50 seconds, did they?
No, that was
that was him just taking
time.
it easy too. He was just like, like it was for the camera. He was like, oh, just look what I can do. Like, like the Mad TV guy just.
Oh my goodness. 10 pounds of mac and cheese. It already makes me want to take a lactose pill. I'm already hurting.
I got to go take a dump just thinking about that. So I think it's time to wrap this bad boy up.
Absolutely. On that dump of a bombshell note, you guys are listening to the SVT Podcast. Although today it is the V&T Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell to get alerts when we go live. Also, if you don't have time, we are putting out short segments. Please go back and watch Vince's short last week. He was animated, to say the least. We love having you guys watch that. It puts a smile on our face. So, also, too, you can follow us on Instagram and Threads at SVT Sports Pod. Slide into the DMs. We would love to interact with all you beautiful people. Warriors, go make a trade.
FJF.